Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. I'm excited to share about our tour to Turkey with you. Um, so maybe I should start by just saying that I'm going to try to rather explain the tour to you and really let you have an understanding of what it is that we will be doing and how we'll be doing it, so that you can really understand what the tour is about and so that you can decide for yourself whether this is really something that you want to do. I absolutely love Turkey. It's a really special country and it has so many different layers. Um, so, yeah, let me get started. I'm going to share my screen, so just give me a few minutes, or a few seconds. Give me a few seconds to share my screen with you again, and then we'll talk through the tour. Right. So, the tour that we are going to be discussing today is our Turkey Unveiled tour. It's going to take place from the 4th to the 16th of October, and those dates include our traveling days to and from South Africa. All right. Right. So, as I've said, it's a 13-day tour. It's a guided journey through Turkey. We will have a local Turkish tour guide with us throughout the tour. And there'll also be a seagull tour leader who accompanies the group from South Africa and who's with the group and to take care of everyone there and to manage the tour during the trip. Okay, so you've got a Turkish tour guide and you've got a South African tour leader traveling with you. I want to be clear from the start that this tour is not one that has a religious minister joining the tour. And yes, there will be some places where we obviously will discuss some of the religious significance of the places that we're visiting, but this is not a religious pilgrimage. Um, we try and have about 2 nights per region so that you don't have to pack and unpack all the time and feel rushed, on a day-to-day basis. We're going to have a group size of an absolute maximum of 25 travelers. So not 40 people all jumping onto a bus and then jumping off the bus and 40 people queuing to buy a coffee, etc. And yeah, this tour is really planned around the culture of Turkey. We want our guests to feel comfortable, to stay in comfortable hotels, to enjoy good food, and to really have a social and a shared experience while they're traveling with Seagull. Okay, so as I've already mentioned, we are going to have fewer hotel changes, which really does allow you some time for deeper travel because you don't have to be thinking about packing and unpacking all the time. Yes, we have a guide. He is going to walk with us through all the sites we're visiting. So there are guided tours, but there's also some free time for you to find your own rhythm. What's really nice is we've planned in some visits to some of the local artisans or makers and different families. One of my highlights is visiting Galip the Potter. He's a really, really nice guy, and so is his wife. He's married to a lady from the Netherlands, and they are such a nice couple. They're in Avanos, but anyway, we'll talk about that in a while. We stay in good hotels that we've carefully selected. Yeah, just as an aside, we've been traveling, Seagull has been traveling to Turkey for more than 20 years. So we really do know the country. Yeah, and we really do believe in meaningful travel. Okay, so let me see what else I can show you. Right. So let's talk about the itinerary and a bit of an overview on the route. So we are going to fly from Johannesburg, or if you're in Cape Town, you can fly from Cape Town to Istanbul, and then in Istanbul we connect to a flight that takes us to Ankara. Um, so the tour basically starts in Ankara, and there we visit the Mausoleum of Ataturk, and we just get a basis of the start of for the start of the tour. Sorry. Okay, and then from there, we're going to travel to Cappadocia. So we move in the westerly direction. And Cappadocia obviously is famous for its fairy chimneys and the underground cities. Okay, Konya is next on our program, and Konya is obviously famous for the whirling dervishes. And then we go to the coast to Antalya. Now, Antalya has one of the best preserved Roman amphitheaters called Aspendos. So that's really, really interesting. We also go to Pamukkale, those waterfalls I'm sure you would have seen before. And then we go to Kushadasi. Now, Kushadasi is on the coast, but we go to Ephesus, that very famous ancient city, and it's really well preserved. Um, so yeah, after Ephesus, we go to Çanakkale. Çanakkale is, of course, famous for Troy, or the Battle of Troy, and then we cross over into Istanbul. So yeah, it's really a tour where each place builds on the last. It takes us from cave churches in Cappadocia to the ruins of Troy and then the mosques of Istanbul. And it's a really full journey, but we really do we try and make this not feel rushed. So although we want to give you as much as possible in terms of information and experiences, we also don't want you to feel like we're herding you through the country. Okay. Um, I'd love to share some of the highlights with you. So let me just get that one up there. Right. So remember, I mentioned in Ankara, we're going to go to the Mausoleum of Ataturk. So that's what we'll be doing before we head over to Cappadocia. These are the famous fairy chimneys and the underground cities that I've been speaking about. And you'll see the balloons on the right-hand slide. Now, the balloon ride in Cappadocia at sunrise is not included. So if that's something you want to do, then you can book that as an optional experience. The rest of the entrance fees, etc., anything we mention on the program, absolutely is included, but the balloons are optional. Okay. And then you'll remember that I mentioned Antalya and Aspendos, the ancient theater. It's absolutely beautiful, a little bit of Mediterranean heat at Antalya. So that's also a winner. And then Pamukkale, which I've mentioned to you before. And when we go to Kushadasi, as I said, we go to Ephesus. So Ephesus is really, really interesting. As you walk through the city, you can literally see this is where there was a shop, and this is where this is the library in the picture that you can see on the left-hand side. But it's a really, really interesting old city, ancient city. And there's so many layers of history in there. It's an absolute highlight of the tour. Right. And then as I said, this is not a religious tour. We do not have a religious minister joining the tour to, give you a religious background to that. But we do have a tour guide who's well informed. And yes, as part of the tour, we do visit the seven churches of Revelation. So you can take as much or as little out of those seven churches in terms of your own spiritual experience. Right. And then I mentioned that at Çanakkale we go to Troy. And then, of course, vibrant, colorful Istanbul with its markets. Yeah, it's just one of those cities that always comes back as one of the highlights of the places that I've visited. Right, so I want to be absolutely clear that this tour gives you an incredible value for money. The pricing that I will discuss in a minute includes your flights. It includes meals, as I've said, a guide, and your experiences, your entrance fees. The only additional or optional experience is the balloon at sunrise in Cappadocia. And we are not going to take any more than 25 paying guests with us. So it is a smaller group experience. You are not going to be traveling with 40 people. Okay. So how we work out the tour cost or how the invoicing situation works, etc., is we take the land arrangements cost, which is 1,552 euros per person sharing. So that's if you're going to be sharing a room with your spouse, your friend, another family member. And then to that, we add the airfare and the taxes, which is estimated at about 20,565. And those two give us a total of approximately 54,000 Rand per person sharing. If you don't want to share a room, then you need to pay a single supplement, which is the 445 euros extra. Now, we will inform the group of a specific Tuesday on which we invoice. The whole group gets an invoice on that morning or on that Tuesday morning, and then they have 2 days to pay. And on that Thursday, we send the money out of the country. So everyone pays on the same exchange rate. Okay. And to book your space on the tour, if you pay by the 15th of June, if you pay your deposit by the 15th of June, your deposit is only 7,500 Rand. It doesn't change the tour cost, but it does make the deposit a little bit easier to manage. Okay. If you don't pay your deposit by the 15th of June, then the standard deposit is 30,000 Rand, which is paid in increments of 10,000 Rand, 10,000 Rand, and another 10,000 Rand over a couple of months. And our accountant will invoice you accordingly for the deposits. Right. So before I move on, perhaps I should just also say that this tour is really for people who are interested in depth, people who like to reflect, to connect with one another. It is not a tour with constant entertainment or five-star luxury. And if that is what you're looking for, then it probably isn't the right fit. And when I say constant entertainment, with all due respect, we're not going to be singing songs on the bus or anything like that. Yeah, we do not hurt people. We do not wear name tags, etc. Okay. So it's for people who appreciate cultural richness, who enjoy a well-planned itinerary, who'd like some time on their own as well. And if that's what you like, then this tour is for you. Okay. So let's just discuss some of the tour information again. I've mentioned the dates. You do need to be fit. I would say that you need to be able to walk a comfortable 5 kilometers per day. Most meals are included, and if you haven't already received the itinerary, please just drop us a note in the chat, and my team will send the itinerary to you. As I said, we have a fantastic guide that we use. There'll be a Seagull tour leader joining us. Visas are really easy for Turkey. It's if you're a South African passport holder, it's an e-visa and it takes 5 minutes to get online, so it's not a visa schlep. And we make use of comfortable accommodation. So yeah, that's some of the practical information. Right, so just in terms of what happens next, I'm going to stop sharing my slideshow with you, and then you're welcome to pop some questions in the chat or unmute yourself and ask me some questions. Again, if you haven't received the itinerary, just let us know in the chat, and my team will make a note of that, and we can send you the itinerary via email along with the booking form and information on how you can book. Yeah, and then absolutely, you can decide whether this is a fit for you. So if you need more time, please do take it. We don't want you to feel pressured in any way. So give me a few seconds to just stop sharing, and then I'd love to answer any questions that you may have. Let me see if there are any questions in the chat. Okay, Vivo, I'm sure that's your phone and not your own name. Oh, Renee. Okay, Renee, I will have my team send that to you. No problem. Okay, perhaps while everyone's deciding whether they want to ask any more questions, I can chat to you a little bit more about who Seagull is. Um, Seagull's a family business, and I'm the second generation owner of the business. We've got over 30 years of group tour experience, and this year is the 40th year that we've been in business. As I've mentioned in the discussion or during the slideshow, we don't like to hurt people. We like to host people and to interact with them. Yeah. So I also believe that someone needs to know whether or not a tour is going to work for them, and I want my guests to make informed decisions. And that's why I like to do these webinars. I think it gives you a little bit of a feeling of what's going to happen and who we are. So if you have questions, please let me know. Sandy, we'll send you the information, no problem. Oh, hello, Neville. Nice to chat to you again. So October is definitely at the end of summer, the very, very end of summer, and it's in autumn. So the weather can be really varied. It can be really cool one day at the coast, and Natalia, it'll be hot again. So the secret would be to pack layered clothing. Yeah, the secret to traveling, I believe, is always to dress like an onion with lots of layers. But it'll be pleasant weather, not too warm and not ice cold. Sandy, yeah, I'm not sure. Sorry if I did say that we'd send you the information, but I'm sure Elizabeth has made a note and has probably already sent it off to you. Okay, and then for those of you who don't know, we do record these. So we will send the link. Um, this is definitely off peak, Sandy. We'll send the link of the webinar to everyone as well. So Sandy asked, I prefer to travel off peak. When is off peak? So again, Sandy, this October is off-peak season, and it's one of the reasons why we travel in October. Not only is it less busy, but it also gives us better rates.
For me.
Hi.
Elizabeth, sorry, we lost you for a second, so I don't know what you said just now. It's Elite Meiberg speaking.
Okay, so no problem at all. I was talking about Seagull, and I was just saying that we've been in the group travel business for about 30 years, and we've been in travel for 40 years. And this is a family business, and I'm the second generation owner. So I was just telling everyone a little bit about who and what Seagull was. And then I also mentioned that, as I said in the slideshow, we don't like to really herd our groups together. We like to connect with our guests during a tour. Let's see what else. And then I answered some questions. Neville was asking about the weather, and I said that October was more towards, well, it's autumn, so you'd need to pack layered clothing, and it'll be pleasant weather, not too hot and not too cold. But the secret to traveling is always to dress like an onion. And then Sandy asked about peak and off-peak season, and I mentioned that this is off-peak, which is great because then we don't have the large crowds and we also get better rates. And then the other thing is we will send everyone who attended the webinar a link so you can rewatch it if you want to. I think I've covered most of what I said.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Have you already, it's Johan Meyer speaking,
Hi,
have you already
Johan.
have you got your 25 people?
No, we don't have 25 people yet, but the tour is a definite go ahead.
Okay, now that was actually the question. And then there was an email saying that there would be another euro 150 per person, making the total tour price. So you didn't, is that still valid, I assume?
That depends on the number of people who sign up for the tour after the webinar.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. And then wat is die ander vraag?
Can't think now. The dress code, that was one thing I wanted to know. No?
Really comfortable. So you don't have to get dressed up in the evening for dinner or anything like that. What I normally do when I'm traveling is if, let's say, the next day I know that I'm going to wear a pair of pants and a blouse, the evening before, I might just put on an extra layer of mascara or something and brighter lipstick or something, and then the next day I'll wear the same clothes. So that's the way I travel. You really don't have to dress up for dinners. As long as you're neat and comfortable, that's absolutely fine. Jy kan Afrikaans ook vra, ek antwoord jou net in Engels, want ek dink dis mense wat
die tips uit te spreek, daai gratuities.
Die gratuities, ja. Okay, so the question is about tips.
What is the percentage, more or less, of
Okay, so I'm sorry, I have to admit that at this stage, I don't have the tipping amount in front of me, so I'm badly prepared for that, but Petra will be able to give it to you.
Okay.
And maybe just to explain to everyone how the tipping works is the tour leader will collect the tip amount, the preset tip amount from everyone on the day of departure or on the day of arrival. And then what she does is she handles the tipping on behalf of the group. So you never have to scratch around for €1 there or €1, for someone who took your suitcase to the room or for the dinner waiters or anything like that. You can just relax. The only time you possibly need to scratch for €1 is when you need to use a public restroom. But for the rest, you don't have to worry about that at all. And it's taken out of your hands. And yeah, we just believe that makes it so stress-free for you.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Prefer that. I suppose you haven't got an idea what the balloon trip will be.
If you give me 2 seconds, I'm actually going to ask Elizabeth to check for us, and she can either pop it in the chat if she can find the information quickly enough. Otherwise, I'll ask her or Petra to just let you know.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, now we're looking forward. I don't think Estelle managed to lock in because she's locking in from Namibia.
Okay.
The sign is a bit there.
Yeah. So that's absolutely fine. Ons sal vir Estelle die link stuur. So dan kan sy nog steeds kyk. So dis 100% reg.
Dankie.
Geen probleem.
Ja, nee, ons is in, so ons sien baie uit.
Fantasties. Ek dink dit gaan 'n wonderlike toer wees.
Ja, want ons is besig met Petra te praat, want ons gaan so 'n bietjie Egipte toe.
Wow, wonderlik. Okay. Yeah, so for the rest of you, if you've missed that, I don't think I mentioned it in the discussion either. If you want to do something before or after the trip, something different, and apart from the tour, then you're more than welcome to let us know and we can arrange that for you as well. So maybe you've got children overseas or there's another place that you'd like to visit. We do offer the service of arranging that for you as well. So you can use your air ticket and go to 2 places at once. So this is what the Meibergs are doing. So that's what we're discussing at the moment.
Yes, I'm sorry, I think I missed it a little bit. When are you planning to buy the tickets? Because we can't do the final bookings before.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't have any of that practical information with me.
Okay.
My focus for this webinar was really just to inform about what the tour entails, but Petra will be able to answer you on that.
Okay, thanks.
No problem.
Visa.
And the visa, you said it's easy to do that.
It's so easy. It's an e-visa, and we just go, we will send you the link, or Petra can help you with it. And you just complete a form online. It's free of charge. There's no cost involved at all. And within 5 minutes, you have a paper visa. It's a piece of paper that you print out, and Bob's your uncle. Very easy.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem.
Yes.
I think that's from us, that's more or less, but
Okay.
we just wanted to be sure that the tour is going ahead.
Absolutely, it is going ahead.
Thanks.
No problem.
Yeah, thank you very much.
No problem at all. Dankie, Johan. Okay. If there are no other questions, I don't see anyone else popping any questions in here. I'm more than happy to answer those. Or if you don't feel comfortable asking them here, you can also send us an email. I'm going to give you 2 email addresses in the chat. The one is for our general email address, which is info@seagulltours.co.za. And then the other one I am going to give you is for Petra, who is the consultant that deals with this tour and all the administration. As you could hear from the questions that I could not answer, I don't deal with the admin. I have another role, so yeah, I'm giving you Petra's email address as well. So there's Petra's. Okay. So you're welcome to email us if you have any questions. If you want to speak to me, you're welcome to do so. My team will give me the message and I can call you when I'm available. Yeah, otherwise you're in good hands with Petra. And Elizabeth, who has been answering some of the questions here or been talking about the hot air balloon with you guys, has also traveled to Turkey. So you can also chat to her if you want to call into the office. Yeah, so we'd love to chat to all of you. Okay, so if no one else has any questions and you have our email address, you don't want to unmute yourself or pop it in the chat, then you're welcome to quietly leave the chat or hang around for a little bit longer. I will be here for a few more minutes.
Okay, but we are going to leave now because I think it's late again. I think we know what we asked what we want to
ask. Reg, Hile, dis 100%.
En dan praat ons weer met mekaar.
Okay, 100, mooi bly. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, thanks everyone for joining. I'm going to end